One of the good ones, Wyoming Congresswoman Harriet Hageman, who obviously trounced Liz Cheney by 40 points in her primary. Ma'am, honor to have you on. You are one of the few people who just shoot them straight.
I try to. I think it's my job and my responsibility because I go back to the very foundation of what you've been talking about as well, which is our Constitution.
Yeah. Well, you know, ma'am, the bigger thing, too, is this spending bill. It's like, I realize you're trying to keep a functioning government. I understand the balancing act. But at some point, what is the threshold to say, like, guys, this is not working. Let's go back to the drawing board and scratch all of it?
Well, and the reality is that the way that they've been able to push us into a $35 trillion debt is because of continuing resolutions and omnibus spending bills. We don't ever ratchet spending back down. And in fact, in this continuing resolution, which I will be voting against, but keep in mind, a continuing resolution is supposed to keep the spending at the same level. They're going to try to add another $240 million to the Secret Service. Now, I want to keep Donald Trump safe. I absolutely want to keep him safe. But the fact is that the Secret Service has the money and the resources to do it. Mm-hmm. Throwing more money at this does not change the culture. Throwing more money at this does not take away their stupid DEI training that they have in the Secret Service. Throwing more money at this does not address the issue. It just gives the Secret Service and Mayorkas more money to waste on things that they shouldn't be spending money on in the first place.
Right. No, that's actually, we threw $20 trillion at the war in the Middle East, and we couldn't unseat a bunch of people in caves barefoot with AK-47s because it was political will, to your point. The other thing, too, is they could just, it's UN week in New York. You can't go anywhere. They could just chop a couple $1 billion off by not blocking half the streets in this place. It's unbelievable. This would-be assassin, though, this is a big thing. You're talking about Secret Service. He had 6 cell phones, 2 license plates, 12 pairs of gloves, a list of dates of Trump events in the next several weeks, and a letter addressed to, quote, the world. He wrote in there, he said, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It's up to you to finish the job, and now I'll offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. Ma'am, this is deeply concerning.
Terribly concerning, and the fact is that the Secret Service, again, is not giving us the information that we're entitled to know more information about who he was colluding with, who he was conspiring with, who was giving him this information. It's the same about the kid in the Pennsylvania situation, the first assassination attempt. Do you honestly believe that this kid was sophisticated enough to have the kind of electronics that he did, to have the accounts that he did, that he was using all of this very sophisticated technology in order to communicate? And they claim that they don't know anything about him. They don't know the motive. Well, we all know what the motive was. We know what the motives were for both of them, and that is because the Democrats have weaponized crazy people to try to take out Donald Trump. I mean, it's really that simple and that basic. But the fact is, to what extent were these people working with other people? I do not believe that either one of them were lone wolves, and yet the Secret Service is not providing us the information that the American people are entitled to, Congress is entitled to. So again, why are we going to throw another $250 million at an agency that's failing right now?
Right, and somehow you and I are domestic threats or threats to democracy because we want to pay less taxes. Congressman, real quick before I let you go, obviously a lot of farmland and open area in Wyoming. China just snatching up land left and right, sometimes outside of our military bases. And you're one of the few people who's actually shaking your fist in the air about this. Why is there not universal consensus to kick these people out of our country?
So I've been fighting this battle actually for quite some time. China is one of the largest owners of farm ground in the United States at this point, the Chinese Communist Party. This is something that should have been on the radar of our national security folks for years and years and years, and yet they've allowed this to go forward. And then again, I always have had to wonder why Biden has turned the blind eye to the Chinese Communist Party the way that he has. And then we have the issue of Hunter Biden. That's why all of that stuff with the Hunter Biden laptop and the deals that he was cutting with the CCP were so critically important, which is to what extent is our foreign policy being dictated by the corruption of the Biden crime family? This is an issue that we need to address. I couldn't go buy land in China. Why should we allow them to come buy prime farm ground in the United States of America? Number one, to control our food supply, but as you say, in areas that are very, very important in terms of national defense.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that $50 million to the Penn Biden Center from China was just a coincidence.
Right.
Congresswoman Harriet Hageman, Always a pleasure, man. Keep up the good work.